No!
For the 10th day of the Spooktoberfest 2020, we're talking about Frankenstein. No, we're not talking about the 1942, 1943, 1957, 1961, 1966, 1973, 1988, 1992, 2007, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2018 ones. I'm talking about The Frankenstein from 1931, one of the earliest Universal classic monster movies, a series that has been sequelized, remade, and rebooted to death, but it still keeps on going stronger than ever. Lee Wannell's The Invisible Man that came out just earlier this year being the example, and they are actually rebooting the whole thing again. So, yeah. Right off the bat, this isn't an analysis video. If you're looking for behind the scenes and research facts, that's not what this video is about. This is more like friends sitting down and just simply talking about the film. So Frankenstein 1931 was directed by James Whale, and it is based on a novel written by Mary Shelley back in 1818. The fact that this story can be told and retold for more than 200 years is something so extraordinary. It was made and released during the pre-code era, so there are scenes they cut just for that approval. If you have seen it, the flower scene definitely stuck out to me when I was watching, and it tells the story of an obsessed scientist, Henry Frankenstein, who brings an assembled corpse back to life from the dead, resulting in the universally recognized monster, the Frankenstein monster. Upon the resurrection, one of the most recognizable soundbites, homage, reference, and meme is born. It's alive! Back in 31, special effects weren't as common. In the mid-20s, Lon Chaney pioneered the special effects makeup by creating the looks of the Hunchback of Notre Dame in 23 and Phantom of the Opera in 25. Later on, one of the most remembered special effect makeup artists in history, Jack Pierce, who really popularized it with Frankenstein. There are tons of documentaries about him. The one that I watched was called He Who Made Monsters, The Life and Art of Jack Pierce. It's on YouTube. It's pretty incredible. But I think a lot comes down to the incredibly tall production designs and structures as well, making everything so expressive but also claustrophobic. The sets are always telling stories as well. Let that be the slanted angles of the bricks, the crooked stairs, or even these flat space framing leading the perception of who's dominating the scene and who isn't. The swooping cinematography and the lighting is wonderful. A lot of the scenes are kept to a beautiful wide and sometimes in real time. They're really focusing on the production design a lot. Not only that, it also contributed to presenting the Frankenstein monster as a character. When he first showed up, we get a very brief close-up, and then the subsequent shot we cut immediately to a wide like we're the observers. He wants to feel the sun, but is afraid of the fire, and when the conflict between the characters is heating up, what does he do? He hides in the corner. This is a very vulnerable character, and the filmmakers managed to set that up in just a couple of shots and a few simple directions. We don't get too many close-ups of the monster throughout the entire film. Some may argue it creates a disconnect, but I think it's actually a pretty genius move, having this monster with mind-blowing at the time special effects makeup on and not showing them that much, because I think it humanizes him further. The emphasis of the character isn't on the looks, it is how he's interacting with the environment around him. So in a way, by keeping his looks in a distance, somehow made the viewers feel a lot closer to him. The film was made just a few years after talkie became a thing, and they really used it to their advantage.
Tomorrow we'll see about that. Don't touch that!
The way the filmmakers utilized sound to amp up the tension and direct attention in this film, in my opinion, was nothing short of some other contemporaries that are praised for said purpose. Fritz Lang's M being the prime example, came out the same year. The thunder strikes and the sound mix and how they are placed is something you pretty much see in every horror/thriller film today. It has been made fun of a lot, but it really worked, and that's why it was emulated decades upon decades till this day. Sometimes the rainstorm and the thunder in the mix are so loud you can barely hear what the characters are saying. It all adds to the horror element of the piece, especially back in 31, right? I wonder how people reacted to something like this. It went as far as not giving the actor Boris Karloff credit in the opening credit. The monster is played by a question mark, or even having the prologue of Edward Van Sloan stepping onto the stage directly talking to us, warning the audience that this is going to be the scariest shit you've ever seen in your life. But At the end of the day, these source materials were able to survive up until today, and the unlimited future, I think it still lies on the theme, the science fiction stories of people trying to be gods and the consequences that can come of that. We saw it then, and we're seeing it now, and we'll continue to explore it in the future. I'm going to give Frankenstein 1931 a Spooktoberfest of approval. It's a classic. I can't grade this.